Hi guys, welcome to Origin. I can't say I'm surprised about what I have to address, but I'm extremely frustrated by it. I want to address Shockofgod. How you're going about treating the responses to your question can be easily described as the most dishonest thing I've ever seen on YouTube. You haven't acknowledged a single thing that anyone has said to you. All that seems to matter to you is that if an atheist doesn't provide any proof or evidence that it's accurate and correct, then you just mark them down as having failed to do so. Now, since you've failed to acknowledge the contents of every other response, of course, I don't expect you to acknowledge the contents of this one. I don't know whether this is because you're really stupid, or you're just being a troll. And if I had to guess, I'd say it's the latter. But I'm going to try, and this is probably going to be the last ditch effort to try and get you to understand. Let me spell it out to you. Atheism is a non-belief. It is a negative. You can't prove or provide any evidence for a negative. Atheism is validated by the lack of proof or evidence for every other religion. You're trying to paint atheists as being irrational for not being able to answer a question which is impossible to answer. We can't answer that question not because we're intellectually incapable of it, but because it cannot possibly be answered. Now, Shockofgod recently released a video called Atheist Admits There is No Proof in Evidence that Atheism is Accurate or Correct. If what he's saying in that video is true, I haven't done any of the research into this, so I don't know at all, but if what he's saying is true and atheists have actually been converted to, well, any religion because of this, then this is addressed to those former atheists. Shockofgod's question is logically equivalent to saying, is there any proof or evidence for the non-existence of a unicorn, for example? No one can prove that unicorns, ghosts, vampires, zombies, any of these things don't exist. But at the same time, no one has ever seen one. There's never been any proof or evidence that they do exist. And that lack of evidence makes the lack of belief that they exist perfectly rational and logical. Back to Shockofgod. If you see this video and you want to respond to it, you can do it any way you like. Video response, comment, PM, I don't mind which. If you have a problem with something I've said, if you don't agree with something I've said, tell me what it is you disagree with and we can talk about it. But if you make a video response in which you add my name and then failed to your notepad, then I'll expose your dishonesty in a far more blatant way. I will clearly demonstrate how you didn't address any of my points and you simply said that I failed without explaining how. And then anyone with half a brain will be able to see that you're just a troll. And that's, of course, if you don't acknowledge my points. But this is your only chance. And I will respond if you respond. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.